This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, 22nd February 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. International help is being sought to plug the leak in the Gulf Stream as it remains sunken off Tobago's southwestern coast, but the barge was up to late yesterday spewing less of its oily substance. Communication Director at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, the ODPM, Lieutenant Commander retired Kirk Jean-Baptiste said yesterday that stopping the leak was not a simple matter, but officials have been seeking help. The Gulf Stream was found overturned in the Cove Industrial Business Park on February 7th, spilling a crude hydrocarbon-like substance that's impacted almost 50 miles of Tobago's southwestern coast. The barge's appearance was a mystery several days. However, the Ministry of National Security last week, according to information from the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, that it said the Gulf Stream was being towed by a tugboat called the Solar Creed. This has not yet been fully confirmed. The discovery of a hand grenade in Presal on Tuesday evening has left officers of the Central Division concerned. The find was made around 6:15 p.m. by a team of officers from the Grand Couver Police Station led by Sergeant Blackman. Police received information which led them to Maula Road in Presal. They made their way about 100 feet into a forested area of the roadway where they searched a galvanized structure. The grenade was found hidden in a Nike shoulder bag. The bomb detection unit was contacted and officers made the device safe, removing it for safekeeping. Due to the location of the device, no arrests were made. Investigations are continuing. The Teachers Union is reporting the Scarborough Secondary School as well as the Lambo Anglican Primary School reopened on Wednesday after being closed due to concerns about the air quality in the area following the recent oil spill. It reported tutor welcomed the school's reopening. However, media reports say Tobago Representative Brandon Roberts is hoping the decision was well thought out and safety is not being compromised. A more robust application of the safeguards involved with protection orders may be required by the TNT Police Service as it embarks on a zero-tolerance approach to domestic violence. This indicated by National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines in the Senate on Tuesday. Hines said the police are of the view that the system of protection orders are working, notwithstanding the reported breaches. He noted that from July 2020, the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill powers were expanded to protection victims. Now there have been 880 instances of breaches. Minister Hines stressed what may be required is a more robust application of these protection orders by the police in a zero-tolerance mode and a cultural shift on the part of the entire society, rendering this aspect of violence unacceptable. Consideration is being given to taxing local artists who perform abroad, as well as materials imported into Trinidad and Tobago for carnival designs. The recommendations being made by a member of the United National Congress during a joint select committee on cultural diplomacy yesterday. The JSC, chaired by Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi-Schoon, sought to inquire into the efficacy of TNT's cultural diplomacy and opportunities for strengthening its cultural and tourism products. In news of the region, the Electoral Commission of Jamaica is advising polling stations and staff are equipped and ready to go for members of the police and military forces, as well as election day workers to cast their votes today. According to the EOJ, polling hours are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Commission says the names of the special service voters have been extracted from the official voters list and dispersed to a total of 270 designated locations, where together accounting for 365 polling stations set up to facilitate voting on the day. And finally, the BBC is reporting leader of Boeing's troubled 737 MAX program is to exit the company, which has been under pressure since a piece of one of its jets blew off during a passenger flight this past January. The departure of Ed Clark after nearly 18 years is part of a wider shakeup of the commercial airplane division that Boeing announced on Wednesday. Boeing said changes were aimed at improving its quality and safety. It comes as the firm prepares to meet with regulators of the air industry. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We have major news coming away at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
It is 5 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock on this 222, yes, the 22nd day of February. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show. Of course, on the show this morning, you just heard from Paul Richards. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh. Of course, we got Ruben, probably washing his car. We got Shane in another studio. My name is Steve Khan. All right, let's get straight into it. Traffic-wise, I've got an accident to tell you about. It is westbound, Churchill Roosevelt Highway, and pretty much it's between El Escoro and Don Miguel, so it's right by the walkover by DHL. That is creating some traffic this morning for those heading westbound. You're going to get traffic this morning from QREP towards that accident by San Juan. It is slow going from Trin City towards UE, Charlieville towards the interchange. You're going to get some volume there for sure, but heavier after the Caroni flyover. All right. So again, there's an accident to tell you about just by El Escoro, just after El Escoro intersection heading westbound. All right. So please take note of that. 25 degrees on both islands. Let's see who sent us hellos before I bring Paul in. Oliver Man Warren, good morning. Got Celia out in Valencia. Wayne B, not in Georgia, but still in Trin City. DJ Ray out in Tampa. Marcia Rock also out in Florida. Wendy and James, Slick Money Grip. Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Rena Budujang, John Keto, good morning to you. Brenda Isaac, Gloria Gray, Josie Richardson, Carol Guevara, good morning to you. All right. Hope you all had a great evening in tonight. I'm just checking WhatsApp now to see who sent us hellos via WhatsApp. Sankofa, very early this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. Good morning to you. Dr. Paul Richards, what's shaking?
Good morning, Steve. That was too tempting.
I know.
I have to leave it alone. Good morning, everyone.
Good idea. Morning, Val.
Feeling less congested this morning. I'm so happy.
You sound very much so.
Yeah. Although some people told me that the coughing continues for some weeks from this cold.
You see that bad flu that's going around, the cough sticks around.
That's what they told me. But I mean, I haven't had a lot of coughing last night into this morning. Some, but not as much as the last couple of days. So I'm happy about that. But then I took your advice and I crushed up some ginger and garlic and put it in honey. And I've been putting that in my throat every morning and evening. And that has helped a lot, actually.
Yeah, try doing it.
An inhaler, Symbicort, that people who have asthma use.
Like Ventolin and so on?
Yeah, but that has steroids in it, so I cannot avoid anything that has steroids in it.
Yeah.
Because steroids have these weird side effects sometimes. But feeling much better. Don't feel as congested this morning. And I have where's my Otrovine, which is like my drugs these days.
You know, as long as I've known my father, he's been using that every day.
It's very addictive. It's extremely addictive, and people don't realize that it's actually addictive. But I am addicted to it because it clears up your nostrils and your sinuses so quickly. In 2-3 minutes, you feel less congested. But you're right, I do without that. I have about 5 packs of that stashed in different places.
Really? And how long have you been using that now?
About since the Saharan dust thing kicked off in Trinidad. I never had sinus issues before. The Sahara dust kicked in about 2 years ago in Trinidad and Tobago, and around the world. But since that started, I started having some issues, a nasal drip and all kind of craziness. Anyway, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, when I had the flu, I had that, and I had the nasal drip too. And they gave me some medication to stop the drip, and it did work. It did work. It is an annoying flu. You know, I was supposed to get my flu shot, and I haven't.
I got some drama into the tugboat that's seemingly called now the Solo Creed, pulling the Gulf Stream, which neither of which have yet been officially confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
It widens with now the Vice President of Guyana, Barrett Jagger, calling for a full probe. Multiple sources in Guyana, including a news outlet in Guyana, have indicated that from their information that the barge was heading to the Guyana Power and Light Company, and it was destined for Guyana fuel for the Guyana Power Light Company. However, GPL last night denied it had any link to the vessel. Something was really fishy with that thing. Let me tell you something. That whole thing shrouded in so much secrecy.
Yeah, I actually got a WhatsApp message yesterday morning regarding the owner of the barge, and it's coming from Venezuela, so it was reported.
None of it is confirmed.
None of it is
confirmed.
I
got about 5 satellite messages purportedly from a site called bargetowing.com. Let me see if I can find it. I didn't share it because I didn't know if it was true. Bargetowing.com or something like that. Yeah. Let me see. No, tanktrackers.com.
Trackers.
I'll send it to you. Which seemed to show, but I have on it, can verify its authenticity here. So, you use Mr. Share.
I mean, it's that the folks know it really is a serious accident by El Socorro there. Police is on the scene. It's a serious accident.
This tank tracker is saying on January 18th at Planet SkySat captured Solo Creed Ranger towing the Gulf Stream, the highest resolution image seen, and there's seemingly a satellite picture as at that time. Then there's one that says a tank #Gulfstream 7734143 capsize of the coast of Tobago 070224 as seen in Pozuelo Bay, Venezuela during the entire week of January. She may be carrying as much as 35,000 barrels of fuel oil. Again, all of this is unconfirmed and unverified. I'm just sharing what I got.
Yeah.
Then there's another satellite picture from tank trackers. There is an AIS gap between 22nd of the 1st, 2024 to the 4th of the 2nd, 2024, north of Venezuela. That's 13 days for just 375 nautical miles, right? And another one seeming to a satellite image that is showing the oil spill and the oil streaming up the lower leewards. So about 5 pictures from this tanktrackers.com, purportedly of satellite pictures. I sent it to you.
I see. I'm watching it now.
Showing purportedly showing the origin of these what do you call it, the 2 ships, the ship and the two boat and the barge.
Tug and the barge.
Right, but again, I'm not putting them up on the air because I can't verify the authenticity. People so creative these days, they create all kind of stuff, right? And then they start to share it because they get likes and all kind of confusion. I ain't sharing it because I don't know if it's accurate. But
it's so weird that not one person is talking about the crew. What happened to the crew of the tug?
Well, as I said earlier, as we said earlier in the week, I said earlier, there was something clearly underhanded going on here. Because despite all the media coverage locally, regionally, and internationally, no tugboat has identified itself as the boat that was towing the barge, and nobody could find this ship called the Solo Creed. And all kind of conspiracy theories and unverified information now regarding this Solo Creed craft that was seemingly towing this Gulf Stream barge is circulating, and nobody could identify it. The only thing we know for sure is the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries has said that they are enlisting the services of international agents to help them to identify and verify these ships, right? So yeah, all kind of conspiracy theories about
all the kind. All kinds.
Venezuela and Guyana and passing through, and they was carrying oil there and all kind of confusion. But we have no verification of all those things. So, and in the absence of confirmed information by the authorities, it's all just speculation. All just speculation. I could tell you something sinister was happening. Otherwise, people would identify themselves already. So, never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment.
Do you know that there are 30 protection orders taken out a day in Trinidad and Tobago on average?
30, you said, you know.
30 daily.
Holy cow.
Mostly by women, of course. Between the year 2000 and 2013, 19,078 domestic violence matters have been reported to the courts. Almost 20,000. I mean,
that's alarming.
I mean, you know? Yeah. But the good thing about it is that, and we have to congratulate the TTPS, most of the orders are thoroughly processed by the police and supported. It's just those one or two or a couple of them that slip through the cracks, that like the sad situation that we saw earlier this year with the TT Defense Force person who went and allegedly, well, now he's been charged with the murders of the mother and daughter in West Trinidad.
Yeah.
And that woman, Carmelita de Leon, and her mother, Khalida Shamba, and the woman had taken out a protection order against the male relative just the year before. And he, of course, broke it. And the tragic end of the mother and daughter now has him charged with their murders. And you have to ask yourself, right? But the good news about it is that most of the protection orders are processed. But I think the police need more resources in that department, given the volume. If you have 30 applications for protection orders a day, think of the load that is putting on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And the Victim and Wellness Support Unit or any other division that deals with that in the police service. In addition to all the work the police have to do already.
Correct.
You understand? So I think, the police have been doing a pretty good job of it so far. But I think they need to really pour more resources. I'm hoping that these 1,000 extra or 1,200 extra.
Let's take this month, for example. If it's 30 a day, that's like 870 cases a month. This month alone.
I'm telling you.
Clearly, they need resources for that. Let's say good morning.
But they need more resources. They have resources. They need much more resources. Good morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard Ragoobarsingh. Good morning.
What's that?
Good morning.
Paul, I hope you did those captions we spoke about yesterday.
Oh, yes. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. I'll do it now.
All right. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners, wherever you are. What you were talking about with the cases, the 870 cases?
There was a motion I brought in the Senate on Tuesday asking for the authorities, the ministry and the police to look into the systems supporting protection orders in Trinidad and Tobago. Between 2000 and 2013, there were 2,000 protection orders taken out. Sorry, domestic violence reports made to the authorities, and they are on average, according to a magistrate's court report, 30 protection orders taken out daily in Trinidad and Tobago. 30 daily on average.
Wow.
Right? So while most of them are processed and followed up efficiently by the police, because of the volume, and because of the situation we had earlier in the year with the woman and her mother who were killed after having taken out a protection order against the TT Defense Force person who's now charged with their murders. The motion was just to have the authorities look at the laws, the regulations, the policies, and the support systems that the police need and resources to see if we can tighten up a bit more. Because that's a significant volume and strain on resources of the police service to follow up all of that.
Yeah.
And respond efficiently, because a protection order could mean that somebody feels their life is in danger, or they've been threatened or something. And we've seen situations in the past where men lose their mind. Well, yes, it's men lose their mind and decide they're going to kill the woman despite a protection order and despite doing what they're supposed to do in terms of leaving the situation and getting a protection order to restrain the person from access to them and their children. So it was really just to try and get more resources to the police service to continue the work they're doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's a valid suggestion, because that's always something that crops up from time to time that makes news. And I know there's probably a lot of frustration in the system, and frustration with when people have protection orders and they seek to enforce or report a breach. Sometimes the kind of insensitivity that they may encounter.
But they've improved a lot, because they've gotten a lot of sensitivity training, to be fair.
Well, yeah, because
all the reports say they've improved a lot.
Well, the unit that they set up with regard to that, I think, helped.
Yeah. So it's just to ask them to look at the systems and the support that the police may need, because that's a lot of load on police resources there. If you're getting 30 applications a day through the magistrate's court or the court system, and those are applied, as Steve said, multiply that by 1 month, multiply that by 12 months.
Yeah.
And
let's multiply it by 29 days for this month and then multiply that again. It's under-resourced. Yeah. So they need to look at expanding that division of the TT Police Service just to support that kind of situation, because of the issues that are facing us in society. So that's what basically what it was about. I mean, a total mind shift needs to take place with primarily men, but I mean, the intervention of the police is what is important at this stage. So, contrary to popular belief, it wasn't about bashing the police. And there's somebody going to jump out themselves just now. Just to ask more resources and instruments that the police could use. So don't jump out yourself this morning. Interesting suggestion. Which lands right in Richard Ragoobarsingh's garden. There was a JSC yesterday focused on looking at Trinidad and Tobago's cultural diplomacy and opportunities and strengthening its cultural and tourism products. And a recommendation was made by UNC Member of Parliament for Napariuma, Rodney Charles, to tax local artists who perform abroad, as well as put taxation on materials imported into TNT for carnival designs. What do you think about that?
But they don't tax materials that come in?
I don't know, but it was a recommendation from him. So I don't know whether they tax materials that come in. I don't know that an artist who performs abroad and declares this is a source of income is not generally taxed in the normal income tax scheme of things. Isn't that so?
They should be, yes.
If it's a source of income that you declare, wouldn't that be a normal process?
It should be. In terms of artists performing abroad, I mean, the vast amount of artists that are performing abroad in a Trinidad and Tobago context would be soca artists.
Yeah.
By far.
Some chutney artists too. Chutney artists perform abroad too.
And DJs go abroad.
And to be fair, Calypsonians when they have a really big hit,
Yeah. So I mean, so he's saying what? Tax.
He's saying tax. Put a tax in it, but or maybe put a specific tax on it. But to my knowledge, if it's a source of income, because in any case, in most, if not all cases, if you're doing it the right way, you'd have to get a work permit in the US or most jurisdictions you go to. Not so?
Yeah.
to go and
There's
work.
there's a particular type of visa that you have to have.
Visa that you have to get. So you're declaring it as work, employment, and revenue from employment. So I don't know how you can escape the taxation system under those conditions anyway, unless there's a waiver of some sort. Right? But interestingly, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Videsh Maharaj, says it's an option, which means they may be thinking specifically of a different type of tax regime, you know. But that's a good question you asked earlier on as to whether or not the materials that are brought in, and all them carnival costume now is, if not all, 80% or more of them,
There's some
they
string.
bring in material from China, which is cheaper. Amas. You understand? From the feathers to the beads to the plastic to the spandex to the whatever. I know people who make those costumes and they have a really seamless importation cycle. Some of them go to China, some of them shop online to get materials because it's much cheaper to buy it there and bring it in to make the costumes.
Yeah.
That's been happening for decades.
But they're bringing anything into the country to pay tax and duties.
Not everything. So I don't know if there's a waiver on it.
Yeah. Not everything.
There's something with feathers that I just can't remember what it is. Isn't there a ban on feathers, or there's something on the importation of feathers?
It can't be a ban on feathers because otherwise we wouldn't have one costume we see Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, there is something with regard to feathers. The importation of feathers. I just can't remember what exactly it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
there was some legislative thing or some regulation with customs and feathers at some point. I remember that. Can't remember exactly what it is, but
yeah, what exactly it is, but I would think that a lot of those materials would be taxed. I can't remember carnival materials specifically being tax-free. Because you have all manner of materials that could become part of a carnival costume.
All right, what it is, because I've just googled it. Feathers intended for ornamental use can only be imported out of TNT and into TNT with the appropriate certification. They require a health certificate because feathers come from animals, and a feather permit in advance of the arrival of the shipment in order to be able to clear the goods from the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, because it's part of an organic, it's part of it comes off of an animal. Unless it says, I ain't know about no synthetic feathers, but most of them feathers come from some animal somewhere. So it's actually a health certificate issue.
Yeah.
Guy Small is saying, if you are a non-resident alien, athlete and or entertainer performing independent personal services in the U.S., you must generally pay U.S. income tax on your U.S. source of income.
Well, they would
they pay taxes on it here. So I don't know that you could have income, can't pay taxes.
We have tax treaties with the United States. And there are some tax treaties going back to the 1970s that cover certain intellectual property rights and royalties, etc., with the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago. Some that attract 0% tax. And now I'm not so sure specifically what. I know royalties is one. But in terms of like if you're writing a book, for example, an intellectual property, and you sell the book in the United States, what is the taxation between the United States and Trinidad? There are some things that are covered, and a percentage of tax that's covered in terms of treaties between the United States and Trinidad and Tobago. So it'll be something that you may have to look at in terms of what exactly is the tax rate. Because once you're earning income in the US, you're required to pay tax in the US.
And Uncle Sam don't make joke.
Yeah, you'll be required to pay tax there. But
Sam will find you.
Depending on the treaty that exists between Trinidad and Tobago and the United States, you may not have double taxation because sometimes you have double taxation.
Yeah.
So you have those kinds of things that you'd have to look at.
Yep.
I mean, more importantly, I think a lot of the times when you have artists because sometimes you have groups performing It could be choirs, it could be steel band groups and stuff performing wherever across the planet. It always concerned me in terms of the whole Ministry of Tourism and Culture, whether you're tying that back to the tourism product of Trinidad and Tobago. And to me, that's the bigger issue than trying to tax a solitary performer for whatever in terms of whatever job they get in the United States. How are
particularly if their income is inconsistent, and which is usually is.
But it would be, yeah. Performers would always be inconsistent, and trust me, a performer might go up and let's say they're performing for $1,000 US for a night. At the end of the night, the producer will come up and rinse out your ears and say, we didn't do that well. Yeah, hold 200.
Unless you have a particular level like the measurement under the bungee gal and the fan lines, that's just
but if you're on a certain level, but a lot of performers experience that kind of problems, if you want to problems that you call it that. But
I saw. Good morning, Zahara and Avril.
In the chair.
Yeah, how do you tie in those performers, whatever type of performer, whether it be steel band, whether it be soca artists, whether it be, plays generally don't go up much. You don't have much theater going up, but how do you tie that back in to the product that is Trinidad, the brand that's Trinidad and Tobago? That's always my concern, because it should be connected to brand Trinidad and Tobago, promoting brand Trinidad and Tobago, to get people to come to brand Trinidad and Tobago to experience more of that particular culture product. And there never seems to be a coherent interconnection between those performers, sometimes doing it on their own, and what is happening back in Trinidad in terms of our product.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, I looked at a conference they were having. The Minister of Culture, Arts and Tourism in Saudi Arabia was giving a presentation at a conference they had in Saudi Arabia. And they have been investing millions of dollars, significant funding into culture and the arts. One, in their opinion, I've already done your woman news, man. That's Avril, by the way. Log on. They're investing significant money in two tiers. One, preserving the archives of their past creatives, you understand, for posterity, because they know that there's a value in that for the society and also for revenue generation. And two, putting development systems and structures in place for new artists, new creatives in every different area, and promotion of their culture and art as a part of their tourism and culture product and the creative industry. Because we all know how much money Saudi Arabia has pumped into tourism in the last 15 to 20 years, in terms of using a lot of the money they've gotten from the energy sector, hydrocarbons in particular, to diversify the economy, building these huge hotels, building the Burj Al Khalifa, whatever it's called it. It's the Burj something or the other. Making the Palm Island and stuff like that. But they're now tying that into the second phase of that development, where they know their culture, arts, and creatives are the other draws to the tourism product, and not only the physical infrastructure. And to me, that's visionary, because they understand that's an infinite pool for revenue, because creatives will never run out of ideas. And once you have a system in place for development of creatives, primary, secondary, tertiary, and the system to support it and develop it and keep it going, you will always get revenue from it. We don't think like that sometimes. I don't know. Do you think we have an entertainment industry in Trinidad and Tobago, or is it just a hustle in different areas?
It's an entertainment industry.
I think it's both.
Define industry. Define an industry.
Yeah. Well, it's an industry in terms of the industry.
The
industry includes not there's a whole sector of workers that contribute to that industry. And I'm
There's a difference between a sector and an industry.
Well, I think it's an industry because you have not only the music part of it, you have the performance part of it in terms of film, which is burgeoning. It might be in how should I say it? I don't want to say embryonic. I think it's more than embryonic stage as an industry at this point. But I would say maybe it's an evolving industry in terms of the entertainment because of the amount of resources and attention that's paid to it. But it's certainly there because you have some people that's all that they do for their entire lives.
That could be a sector. An industry to me has infrastructure, it has support systems, it has sustainability, it has a cohesive policy and plan for medium and long-term sustainability, and it is looked upon seriously in terms of investment in development by the state for sustainability and for development of artists and artisans coming up. I don't think we have all that in place. I think we have very creative people who are making a living in different entertainment sectors from entertainment. I think an industry needs a lot more than the important input of the creatives and the work that they're doing because they love creating art, music, film, theater, whatever. So they do it because it's part of the soul and they find a way to make money from it. But I don't think as a country, it's an industry yet. An industry means what we did with Petrotrin because we realized we have oil and gas and we put a whole infrastructural things in place. We put policies in place. We put trade in place. We put facilitation of export in place. We don't have all that in the entertainment industry. People do what they need to do to survive, but that's not necessarily an industry. And that's why I say it's a sector. It's not necessarily an industry. Watch, we create a thing for you, you know. Watch Richard. Watch his screen. Watch out, bro. Sometimes you just freeze, so we have to advise the audience that it's not their system. It's just you freezing and thought.
Nice.
Oh Lord.
Just must send people messages and say, is something wrong with the system? Because Richard just does this. But we know you're thinking, so we're just advising them, do not adjust your screen.
Oh Lord.
I'll be back momentarily.
That sounds like Steve had some input in it.
Why you want to think that I had input in that?
Because your laugh was too jolly.
No, we didn't talk about that yesterday.
But yeah, but I
we have one for Wendell, do you know?
Oh, there's one for Wendell. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot that can be done for the creative sector, and this issue of devoting resources to the creative sector and recognizing it as an important part of the GDP and how much it can contribute to a country's GDP is something that certain countries have realized, whether it be Australia, whether it be England, whether it be the United States, of course, is the king of it, in terms of monetizing talent and
music, film, dance.
South Korea has also done it.
Japan.
So,
where does anime come from?
Yeah, Japan.
Japan anime. Big $1 billion business now. That's what I call an industry. Understanding how to monetize it as a significant contributor to GDP. And I'm not saying creative arts in Trinidad and Tobago doesn't do that. I'm saying that the systems to make it sustainable. If you feel to not be an attorney again and jump into theater full time and write and create theater productions and film and TV from it, you could do that. You understand? It's always most creatives have a side job or have to start with a side job. The percentage of creators who live off it alone, to me, is very small. And if they're living off it, there is inconsistent income because the systems are in place to support them on a large scale. The value of their creativity, to me, is not maximized because the systems are not there. And it's not about the value of what they're creating, it's about the systems to maximize monetization of it for them on behalf of the country. You know?
Yeah. Do you think Jamaica has an industry?
Yes. Because they have a system in place where they understand and they've been able to, one, support the studios and the artists, and not only in music, but in sport also, to create the art, two, record labels and A&R people and attorneys at law to protect them and make sure that the legal parts are sound, and three, to promote and export it around the world. And that's why the success of Shaggy, Sean Paul, Bob Marley, the plethora of them, didn't happen by guess. There was a plan and a support system from the country, and it's working globally because they understand the whole continuum of development, nurturing, packaging, export, monetization, and sustainability. So I do believe Jamaica, that's why Jamaica has so many successful record labels, partnering with international record labels to get their artists promoted in a particular way. So yes, Jamaica has an industry because a lot of the money comes back to Jamaican remittances. You understand? So I think we can get there. This is one of the most creative countries in the world. Yes, we bias. I don't care. I believe in Trinidad and Tobago in almost every sphere of entertainment and creative arts. We just not without all the systems in a place yet, and without a cohesive policy to move it from now to 50 years from now. That's why we're still talking about Soca Mafia and Soca Mafia. We're still stuck in the same cycle of conversations. Conversation is evolving as it should. So that's my
Is Carnival an industry?
So to me, it's a sector. It's a sector of tourism, culture, and the arts. I don't think it's an industry yet. I don't think it's self-sustaining. If the state pull all the money from Carnival, what happens? You understand? If the state pulls all the 150 million that they put in from NCC, what happens to the stakeholders and the creatives in each sector? It will collapse. It will collapse. Wouldn't it?
Not all aspects of it.
Well, think of it, the no stands, no police, no prize money, no sponsorship, mostly from the state, $150 million. That is significant investment. And it's important investment, but it's really money internally being channeled into various groups and stuff and artisans, which is, to me, very valid, very needed. But to say that they could quantify how much money is bringing in net money, net income into the country, I don't know that we've done that. I keep seeing this $3 billion line thing, but I don't know where that came from, or 1.5 billion. I don't know what's the evidence to support that, or nobody is giving them. There's a number that somebody threw out there, and people keep repeating. So I've never seen how they quantify that. And yes, somebody just mentioned the state does tax some of it, but still, is it net revenue earned, or is it net revenue invested? And we don't know. I don't know, because I haven't seen a comprehensive assessment of it being done. But I think we have great potential, because I think we are some of the most creative people in the world in so many different sectors. I mean, it's amazing what we produce. I mean, we made the steel pan, and we still haven't been able to monetize the steel pan globally. You understand? I've always told you about America Dance that you wrote and produced, and if you were in Hollywood, you would have a big Netflix contract for that, somebody turning that into a television series or a movie or something like that. I guarantee you, because it is outstanding. You understand? But you have to go and do it yourself. Not so?
Yeah.
If you want to do that, is there an agency in Trinidad and Tobago that would say, Richard, Ragoobarsingh, come bring that? Let us help you get that from where you have it here to a studio in the US and give you the legal backing to make sure you're protected, your works are protected. I don't think so. Nobody's looking at that. So you have to do just
there are the
film TT and this TT and that TT, I know, but how much of them do that for you? Why can't you see potentially in works like that?
Yeah. We are in the beginning stages, I think, of trying to monetize those kinds of things.
Very
and I know there are discussions with some of these streaming giants in terms of having more Caribbean content on. I think they look at it from a Caribbean perspective. But that
Jamaica little Caribbean, I thought Jamaica like Jamaica.
Yeah.
We go Caribbean when we know we can't stand up on our own. But Jamaica don't think Caribbean, Jamaica think Jamaica.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly. So we have equally potent cultural artisans. We think in Caribbean because we don't have an industry to promote on our own. And I can guarantee you, I 100% believe that we have the talent. Anyway, you have papers? I hear what happened, and we can't go late with our news this morning at all. She's going kind of bad.
Wow.
No, let me see. It is Thursday, the 22nd of February. Let's start with the Express and see what's happening on 9 News. Express for today. Tricky leak. International help is being sought to plug the leak of the Gulf Stream as it remains sunken off Tobago's southwestern coast. Barge left Venezuela days before spill. CWU replaced TSTT board. TNT and Barbados in talks for new fishing agreement. Kamla, give pay increases to public servants instead. Owners may hide their tracks, talking about, of course, that barge and tugboat. Prison officer wins case. Grenade found, cops are concerned. Cartel claims stalls. Farley, 1,900 barrels collected per day. And property tax can increase headline inflation by 0.6% in 2024. Those are trending stories in your Express. Let's move to the Guardian now. Guyana BP Jaguar wants full probe into Tobago spill. Do not raise MP salaries is an expose. GPL, Guyana Power Limited denies links to barge leaking fuel in Tobago. GSC proposes tax on artists performing abroad and on mass materials coming into the country. Rome, just don't tax artists, invest in them too. Gatsby Dolly, ministry won't deny a child in an education. And Come Clean is the front page of the Guardian. Okay, well, it asked me for a password there, so I think it didn't work out. Let's move to the Newsday now for today. Excuse me. Sorry, April. Pupils get lessons in delivery from music festival. Tributes for WPC killed in Gasparilla crash. Ministry exceedingly difficult to hire and retain cybersecurity experts. Urpuch East MP calls for extortion unit in the TTPS. Businessman's family believes he was slain for refusing to pay tax. Export TT grilled over lack of audits. And Red Force batsmen falter against Hurricanes. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today, Thursday, the 22nd of February, 2024.
All right. Thank you, Paul. All right. We'll get into our morning poll, but first, let's get the results of our poll from yesterday. We asked you yesterday, should parents be held accountable for their minors' children's violent crimes? That was our poll yesterday. Results are in. 89%. 89% said yes. All right. We will get into this morning's poll. I can hear the keyboards going. I can hear AV laugh.
Yeah, Evie laughing in the background, like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's our question this morning. Should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? Yes or no? Spoke quite a bit about the creative industries this morning. What do you think?
Yeah, that's our poll this morning. 222 Talk, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, you can, and of course, LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta Live, all of that. You can all send your votes via the message portals on those respective platforms, yay or nay. Should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? You can also send your votes via WhatsApp at 868-318-1021. That's 318-1021. Should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? That's our poll this morning.
Let's say good morning, good out to the folks listening to us like Leo Henry out in St. Lucia as they celebrate their 45th anniversary of independence today.
Yeah. Good morning, St. Lucians. Happy independence to you.
Yeah. Happy independence, St. Lucia. You know, I've never been to St. Lucia.
Wow, beautiful. Been to St. Lucia 3 times.
Never been myself.
Been 3 times. Beautiful. I went to, what's the writer's name? Derek Walcott's house and spent a whole day.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful house. And I went into his writing room. He has a writing room overlooking the sea. Stunning.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I didn't feel that was Derek Walcott.
So should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? Yes or no? That is our question this morning.
So we have some votes coming in. Good morning, guys. No to the poll. This is Esther Craigwell. Penny taking money out of the country and not paying taxes. Why tax locals who are bringing money into the country?
That's a good question, Lester. Do Venezuelans working in Trinidad and Tobago pay tax?
How?
Well,
most are probably earning less than the 7,000
required for tax.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Most. Yeah. All right. Let's grab this call here. Good morning.
He says no.
Morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, no.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Max lied yes to the poll from Atlanta. Dear, that might just be double or triple taxation. No to the poll.
Yeah.
That's from DL. Jesse Richardson says yes. Wayne B says no.
All right. Captain Ron. Morning to Captain Ron. He says no. Sunny San Fernando says no to the poll. Eve out in Sugargorner says no. Kenwin says no. Good morning, GNC Auto Security. Cheryl Johnson says no. All right, Cheryl Henry.
Cheryl get bits of the way.
Boy. Very much so. All right. Should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? Frank Clark, says no to the poll. All right. AV, leave him alone.
I didn't. Wow.
I should come in earlier. More often. It's fun down here this Saturday morning. Should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? Many of them go abroad and they make money, which is their livelihood.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're not taxed presently, to be very honest. I don't want you to declare income, and once it falls above $7,000, not so? Is it monthly or annually? Richard, monthly?
That's monthly, yes.
That you're not
7,000 is
taxed.
the limit. Yeah, 7,000 and
Yeah.
below is not taxed.
But some Venezuelans making more than that,
Then they're probably taxed.
How? You have to file income tax to be taxed.
You'll have a tax number.
Yeah, you have yeah.
I think they don't pay NIS.
BIR number. Do they have BIR numbers?
NIS, that's the issue.
But would they have BIR numbers with registration?
The only thing I know they don't pay is NIS. NIS you can also charge, but
okay.
But I'm not sure. I think they would have to have a tax number, but I'm not sure.
Sherwin Kerr says no.
Yeah.
Good
morning,
caller.
caller.
What's really clear? Sorry, that was my mistake.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, darling.
Morning, my dear.
How are you, sweetheart? I will just get jealous when you call. I just let you know.
Good morning. I am well, and you are here. What you taking for that call? Listen to me. I want to know if that question incomplete. If they were making money, they're paying taxes. How you could pay it when you bring it here now? That means it's double taxation. So you tell us that.
The question is based on the discussion of the JSC yesterday.
Pardon me?
The question is based on a suggestion coming out of a JSC yesterday.
Yeah, but they have to know if you make money in a country and they tax you on it. Because I know in America, Uncle Sam don't make joke, you have to pay taxes.
Not everybody's get taxed. Sometimes they pay in cash. You don't have to declare everything you make.
Well, me I know if you bring in money in your foreign
country. You never perform abroad. You only perform in here. That's your problem. If you go abroad and perform, sometimes you don't know how they pay.
Well, yes, that is the problem. Yeah, I only perform in here, so that's why I know I pay in my pay as you in here.
And you don't pay too low.
Only rephrase that question or educate.
No, we're not rephrasing my question.
Boy, but DC says no.
I'm refusing to answer that one. I don't know.
All right. We put your
Hold on, Rich.
Diana Benskin says then they may want to tax TNT nationals on dollars they make abroad. Hell no. So that's a no. CJ from New York says no to the pool. Marcia Rock says no to the pool. Sherwin Kerr, well, I think you said that one already.
Darling.
No. Morning, Mrs. R.
Isn't she rude while you were speaking? She wants to come in.
No, I wanted him to know that I was waiting to say hi.
Exactly. Good morning.
Good morning, honey bunny. Tell Avi hi for me too, Avi. Oh my God, tell my dad. Hi, Avi. You know who it is now, right?
Let's stick to your husband now.
Relax, Paul. Okay, side man.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah, skip all of that.
What is sorry, Avi, Paul was shouting. What did you say, Avi?
I said thank you so much. It's so lovely to hear your voice, honey.
I know I miss you so much on the 98.9 days. Oh my God, I so miss you.
Paul loved those days.
You all want a moment?
Yeah, I was a girl before you all existed. That was my love, everything. So special good morning to Avi and to my honey. Good morning, Paul. Steve, my love.
I see the flu coming back.
Wow.
I don't know if there's flu on them kind of thing, but my immunity always up, so yes, I had to be getting no flu. Anyhow, so special good morning to all of you. And a man says yes to the poll. Bye, Avi.
Bye, honey. Have a great day today, sweetie.
Are you finished?
And to Ray Rodriguez says
it's definitely no. You have to read the news.
Trinity Bree says yes to the poll. Slick Money Grip says yes to the poll 100% because you would want benefits went sick or retired. Cheryl Henry says yes to the poll. Clifton Simpson says the invaluable contribution artists make towards promoting Trinidad and Tobago is far greater and they should not be taxed.
All right.
I know we're just about 7 a.m. on the dot, so you can continue to vote and we'll just read the votes that come in by the time we come back from the news. Yeah.
All right. Evie just had to run to the newsroom. Carlisle says no. Carlisle says we get taxed by the airlines heavy enough with taking our steel pan and keyboard instruments. Okay. All right. All right, Evie, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's get into our 7 o'clock major news.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
International help is being sought to plug the leak in the Gulf Stream as it remains sunken off Tobago's southwestern coast. Meanwhile, Guyana's president calls for a full probe into the incident. Plans to increase cultural attaché around the world. Consideration being given to taxing local artists who perform abroad, as well as materials imported into TNT for carnival designs. And further afield, Boeing 737 MAX bores out after blowout. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Santel Bob. Good morning. International help is being sought to plug the leak in the Gulf Stream as it remains sunken off Tobago's southwestern coast. However, reports indicate that the barge was up to yesterday spewing less of its oily substance. Communications Director at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, retired Lieutenant Kirk Jean-Baptiste, said yesterday that stopping the leak was not a simple matter, but officials have been seeking help. The Gulf Stream was found overturned in Cove Industrial and Business Park on February 7th, spilling a crude-like substance that has impacted almost 50 miles of Tobago's southwestern coast. The barge's appearance was a mystery for several days. However, the Ministry of National Security disclosed last week that according to information from the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, the Gulf Stream was being towed by a tugboat, the Solo Creed. The vessels became detached and the Solo Creed has not yet been found. Jean-Baptiste also said yesterday assistance was due to come in to look at the possibility of clogging the leak since it cannot be welded as there could be explosions. It was also noted that the vessel has to be handled with caution to minimize the risk of the leak expanding or other mishaps that could lead to increased spillage. Meanwhile, the probe into the continued spillage of diesel into Tobago's waters from the sunken Gulf Stream barge took a new twist yesterday after Guyana media outlet News Source reported that the country's Vice President Barrett Jagdeo had called for a full probe of the incident. This after multiple sources close to the Guyana government and the state-owned Guyana Power and Light Company revealed that the vessel was destined for Guyana with fuel for the Guyana Power and Light Company. However, GPL last night denied it had any link to the vessel. Both Guyana and the TNT are investigating the incident since the crew of the Solo Creed, which was towing the barge, are still to be located. The Teachers Union is reporting Scarborough Secondary School as well as the Lambo Anglican Primary School reopened on Wednesday after being closed due to concerns about the air quality in the area following the recent oil spill. It reported tutor welcomed the school's reopening. However, media reports say Tobago's representative Brandon Roberts is hoping the decision was well thought out and safety is not being compromised. A more robust application of the safeguards involved with protection orders may be required by the TNT Police Service as it embarks on a zero-tolerance approach to domestic violence. This was indicated by National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines during Tuesday's Senate debate. Hines said the police are of the view that the system of protection is working, notwithstanding the reported breaches. He noted that from July 2020, after the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill's powers were expanded to protect victims, to now, there have been 880 instances of breaches. The motion in the Senate cited TTPS Crime and Prevention Analysis Unit information on 19,078 domestic violence matters from the year 2000 to 2013, with 75% being women and 131 domestic violence-related cases and deaths, with 56% being females. He noted media reports of the issue, including the January murders of mother and daughter Carmelita de Leon and Khalida Scamba, and that Scamba had taken out a protection order against a male relative last year. Trinidad and Tobago plans to increase the amount of cultural attaché around the world in addition to having a presence in Washington, D.C. and Miami. Confirmation of this came from President or Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Rita Toussaint. She was speaking at a sitting of the Joint Select Committee on Foreign and CARICOM Affairs on Wednesday. It inquired into the efficacy of Trinidad and Tobago's cultural diplomacy and opportunities for strengthening its cultural and tourism products.
And use that to develop opportunities for those who are involved in the creation of the steel pan, tuners, those who teach. It is also associated with our festivals. It can bring popularity to our festivals as well. And it can also broaden the scope of opportunity for those who are involved in not just the steel pan, but carnival arts and other related aspects of our culture.
It was revealed the international recognition given to the national instrument, the steel pan, by the United Nations General Assembly on August 11th is commendable, and the aim is to improve on this achievement.
If we use the World Steel Pan Day as an example of a strategic approach to promoting culture, coming out of the knowledge and popularity of World Steel Pan Day, using it as an event period or opportunity, we can highlight not just the steel pan in itself, which is a fantastic musical instrument, and it has a legacy of its own and a story of its own.
Consideration is being given to taxing local artists who perform abroad, as well as materials imported into Trinidad and Tobago for carnival designs. The recommendation was made by a member of the United National Congress during a joint select committee on cultural diplomacy yesterday. The JSC, chaired by Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi-Skun, sought to inquire into the efficacy of TNT's cultural diplomacy and opportunities for strengthening its cultural and tourism products. Gopi-Skun lamented the failure of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts to streamline and formalize culture as a business. Rodney Charles, the UNC's MP for Naparima, proposed a potential solution to generate revenue through the taxation of chutney, soca, and calypso artists who perform across the region and wider world. He suggested consulting a tertiary-level academic institution such as the University of Trinidad and Tobago to determine a range of possibilities that could benefit the Board of Inland Revenue. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and the Arts, Vidash Maharaj, said it is an option. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Further afield, the BBC is reporting the leader of Boeing's troubled 737 MAX program is to leave the company, which has been under pressure since a piece of one of its jets blew off during a passenger flight in January. The departure of Ed Clark after nearly 18 years is part of a wider shakeup of the commercial airplane division that Boeing announced on Wednesday. Boeing said the changes were aimed at improving its quality and safety. It comes as the firm prepares to meet with regulators. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago fair becoming partly cloudy at times with isolated afternoon showers in a few areas. Fair night. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 31 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature is 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 25 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, international help is being sought to plug the leak in the Gulf Stream as it remains sunken off Tobago's southwestern coast. Meanwhile, Guyana's president calls for a full probe into the incident. Plans to increase cultural attaché around the world. Consideration being given to taxing local artists who perform abroad, as well as materials imported into T&T for carnival designs. And Boeing 737 MAX bores out after blowout. I'm Avril Cynthia Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon, and there is an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. What did you say, AV?
Log on to power102fm.com. Log on.
All right, AV. I hear you. Thank you. Okay, AV.
Log on.
Okay.
That's starting the song as a suggestive note, Steve. Stop. Her daughter is here.
What the heck? Look.
Okay.
AV. Anyway, thank you, AV. For our major news, you can join again coming up at 8 o'clock. All right, for our news brief. Let me just give you a quick traffic update. That accident, if you're stuck in traffic, yep, there is an accident just by the Elskoro walkover by DHL that is creating some serious traffic on both highway and on the Eastern Main Road. You're going to get traffic this morning from Piarco heading straight to El Sikoro Main Road. You're going to get it even before by Macoya. Heading towards San Juan and extension Mova. That accident has also created traffic from Chase Village heading northbound, all right, towards the interchange. Hopefully they'll get that rectified and cleared up shortly. So I just got a picture of it. So hopefully that will be sorted out. All right, so if you're stuck in traffic, there is an accident westbound Churchill Roosevelt Highway by DHL. All right, gentlemen, let's see if we have any more votes. I don't know if you all did. Cheryl Henry. Slick Money Grip says, good morning, Ms. AV. Your voice sounds great after the flu. I'm logged on. Okay, there you go, Slick Money Grip. Hope I did some justice to you. Where is this? Okay, I'm being told once you pass DHL heading westbound, you're good to go. All right, so thank you so much, Debbie. Appreciate that, Debbie. You got an early morning airport run. Okay.
Were there any additional votes, by the way, Steve?
No.
I seen Cheryl Henry saying something there. You are taxed, TNT, bound to do it. So I'm still casting. But you're talking about the tax for NLCB. Anyway, so of course our poll this morning, should TNT artists be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad? We had 25 people voting on the poll this morning. 25 people voting on the poll. Of the 25 people, 19 of you said no, you do not think that TNT artists should be taxed on monies they make while performing abroad. 6 of you said yes, they should be. So the vast majority did not think that they should be taxed.
Yeah.
I think they shouldn't be taxed if they're making under a certain amount. It's just a benchmark because there's some artists who really don't make a lot consistently when they travel.
No.
You know? And if you're making consistently a lot, let's just say an average over a year, then yes. But if it's below a certain benchmark, I don't think so. And I think you should also benefit from the taxation in terms of potential linkages to the Ministry of Trade, Culture, to other markets that you could more easily penetrate, like exchange programs with other countries and reduced airfare through CAL or something, so you benefit from it, so you go, because you're going to bring money to circulate in Trinidad and Tobago economy anyway in most instances. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there should be some benefit. Yes, you're getting healthcare and you're using the roads and you're getting electricity subsidized and things, but almost like a cultural ambassador benefits now, you know? So if you tap...
No, I didn't listen to the JSC, Paul, but it seems to me that the Minister of Trade, Paul Ragoobarsingh, was making the point that there needed to be more. This is my impression from what he said in the news, that there needed to be more synergy between the Ministry of Culture, Tourism, and the Arts, and the Ministry of Trade and CARICOM and Foreign Affairs in that brand Trinidad and Tobago and the intersecting of performers and brand Trinidad and Tobago. That's the sense that I thought the conversation was. And to me, that's always a conversation that I figure doesn't happen enough. How do you monetize brand Trinidad and Tobago? But rather than the conversation more and more in that direction, it seemed to have gotten derailed by moving to, well, let's tax the artists. How do you move from talking about brand Trinidad and Tobago, and how do you make artists, or how do you monetize in a broader sense the product Trinidad and Tobago, intersecting with artists that are performing all over the planet, and bringing that back to the brand Trinidad and Tobago, which is an important conversation to me. It gets derailed by somebody saying, well, let me tax the artists and then when they go abroad. That's what we get down to. And that's
that's what was primarily covered in the media. That the conversation was wider than what was covered in the media. And I remember asking that question.
I wasn't there, but that's what's coming out of it.
So, but that's what we're talking about, that aspect of it. But the conversation was wider than that. But even in addition to that, I asked the Minister of Tourism months ago about a cultural policy, and he did indicate there's a cultural policy. I haven't been able to access it yet. And my colleagues, Senator Dr. Shada Patterson, who is Munga Patterson's daughter, and Senator Helon Francis, both in their maiden budget presentations, spoke about that wider issue of the cultural policy and these various aspects that we're talking about synergized into one cohesive, comprehensive plan to develop, sustain, support, monetize creatives and creative outputs in the country. You understand? Josanna that I always quoted said years ago, about 15 years ago, she said, if we had done for culture and arts what we did for in Point Lisas in terms of infrastructure, investment, expertise, education, we would be making billions from the creatives right now. We haven't done that in a consistent, comprehensive manner, you know. And to me, it is an infinite source of revenue. There's no limit to what creatives could create. You understand? And the more you create in a structured manner, the actual better you get at it. And that's why Jamaicans, their mindset, I remember traveling to Jamaica years ago and they told me, I said, why you have so many little studios all over the place? They said, because if we produce 100 songs a week, we have a higher potential hit rate globally. If we're only producing 5 songs, we'll take too long to produce a global hit. But if we produce 100 songs, people might think, oh, it's watered down, but one of those, you get better and better at it, and the artists get better, and the studio gets better, and the marketing gets better, and they have more product to sell to the world. So they have a higher potential for hits and revenues remitting to Jamaica. That's why Shaggy, Sean Paul, Beanie Man, Shabba Ranks, and they have so many international hits. because there's a process and a thought out this, and they're doing it now with athletics. They realize they've had success with Usain Bolt and all of them. So they realize there's something we did here that we need to replicate and keep younger people coming into it so we could produce the next few Usain Bolts of the future and keep brand Jamaica and the money coming back in to the country. It doesn't happen by guess or happenstance. There is a process involved. I don't know how you could not monetize something like Pan. Pan just to me is absolutely amazing. And David Rudder once told me when he was signed to Sire Records, David Rudder was signed to Sire Records, which is a division of Warner Brothers Records. Sire Records, at the same time Madonna was signed to Sire Records. So David Rudder had a couple of releases on Sire Records when Madonna was initially on Sire Records. But they kept asking him when he was signed to Sire Records because they're so impressed by him. Who else can we look to if we are to promote this genre of music, this new sound? It can't all just depend on you. We have to have a production line of more people to promote this genre of music. Otherwise, the investment in you and this genre, we won't get back sustainably. You understand? So they were looking at who can you tell us to look at, who we could see and bring into the fold, and the system just wasn't in place. So the opportunity was lost. To talk.
Yeah, but I mean it's a conversation that will continue because it's an important part. It is potentially an important part of your GDP.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Paul. There's so much music that Trinidad and Tobago creates in any given year. So much. If you're just looking at that, and you're not just talking about soca or chutney or calypso, you're talking Trinidad, whether you like it or not. You're talking about the other artists who perform on the fringes, whether it be rock music. You have all kind of music that takes place in Trinidad and Tobago.
We had an opportunity in the 60s and 70s when Sparrow, Kitchener, Spoiler, Attila, and they literally, calypso was the fastest growing genre in terms of popularity in the world. When it was so popular that Harry Belafonte, Andrew's sisters, every American artist and European artist was singing a type of calypso. Remember that?
I don't remember it.
I know you're too young to remember that, but yeah. You can read. You're a very good reader, avid reader, so you can read about it. And it was one of the most important breakthroughs in musical genres in the world, and we didn't capitalize on it. We didn't give them the next generation consistently to keep feeding the beast of the music industry's appetite globally. Sparrow and Kitchener toured the world because of the popularity of calypso, particularly in Europe, and then crossed over to America at some point. We didn't capitalize on that. It's infinite. We're talking about soca, calypso, chutney. We're talking about mass, the creativity, the costumes, individual costumes, the kings and queens. Look what Minstrel did in 3 or 4 Olympics. We capitalized on that. You understand? Minstrel produced the opening for 3, and he did part of 1 Olympics. He did Jean-Michel Jarre's Light Festival in Paris a year. And we don't capitalize on it. Yep, my grandmother used to say, when you have mango tree in your backyard, you take mango for granted. Because the mango, you could go out in the yard and pick up a mango, so you don't value mango the same thing. You could translate that to our culture. It comes so naturally to us that we don't value it in the same way that other people value it.
Yeah, no, that's a very valid point.
Mm-hmm. 222 talk.
Yep, 24 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. 222-8255. North Americans toll free 866-525-1099. Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning again.
Good morning, Zena.
All right. Oh, you sound so chirpy. Not like a while ago when Paul stumped you. Earlier on.
He stumped
Anyhow, what I want to ask you, Richard, might be able to tell me more. Like the artists who come here to perform, do they pay taxes on the money they make here?
I'm not sure.
Do you
I
know?
don't know. I don't know. You see,
Because
you have double taxation treaties that
uh,
exist with different countries. So I don't know how their taxation would work for when they perform abroad and how they declare that back in their taxes in their home country. I don't know. Remember,
Yeah.
you have
you
different
And
tax.
I'm guessing, also
um,
guessing how they are also paid. Maybe check, cash transfer. I don't know.
well, you see, why I'm asking that is because we, the average person, have to know what happens in the role of taxation. Just like how we thinking about they coming in to tax them with their money. What about the artists that they bring here to perform? We would like to know if they're paying taxes on that money that they make here and what has to happen in terms of how the money comes here because the banks have to get involved. The banks tax people a lot on transferring of monies. You know, like somebody who has a bank account abroad and you want to bring money here. They pay a lot of fees abroad to send it, and then when it comes here, the bank taxes it, on monies that come in. So all this has to be worked out and ironed out, and that is what, I would like to find out more about it. So it's
Um,
not just yes to the question and yes, there should be tax. What about bringing the money in? How much money they're spending to pay to bank to come through the bank with that money for the bank to bring it here for them? There's a lot of things that fine detail that people ought to know if it benefits the artist. Thanks.
It
All right.
depends on where they're coming from, where they're taking the money back to, and the treaties we have in place, the taxation treaties we have in place with those jurisdictions. There's not one thing for every thing. I don't know what the institution, England, the US, and some people say if they're paying tax there, you might not have to pay tax here. In some instances, they're double taxation treaties, percentages in this jurisdiction. Sometimes they share information about taxation and all of that.
yeah. And not only that, a lot of times those artists, because it's usually big artists that you're talking about, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
Sina, they will be paid by a
In
bank
US
transfer.
and
Yeah,
bank
they'll be paid
transfer.
in US. So they're not actually getting money in Trinidad. They're getting the money that have been sent to their bank information.
And you may be paying it to an agency.
Sometimes that,
To
Correct.
their
Yeah.
agency. You're
because
not paying to them directly, you're paying it to their
they will
agency,
have,
and the
yeah,
agency has a
they will have
taxation.
agents. Yeah, yeah, they will have
Yeah.
agents and stuff that deal with it.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning to everyone
Good morning.
in the
Morning.
studio. Yes,
Morning.
I am for taxation, but for taxation of everyone, even those who are in the manufacturing business, because manufacturers who export their products, I am told they get a tax credit, and then they hide their monies outside. We should also trace the money and ensure that they pay taxes on that. Not because the artist going with his physical body, we must see that. It's about the money. So anybody who even invests in stocks and bonds on any foreign market, they also should be taxed on the profits, the interest. And since I'm on this topic, not to stay too long, in relation to exports, we keep on talking about how the suppliers of illegal drugs are being paid. Well, because of the forex problem, the suppliers of illegal drugs aren't paid in US currencies. It is alleged, remember I use the word alleged, for those who may be listening on with other motives. I'm saying alleged that to pay the drug suppliers, they export local products to different warehouses around the world And that is how the suppliers get paid. So it's not by getting Forex to pay them. This is what needs to be investigated also. And if you trace that money and see how much money comes back to the country, you will realize that these are the things that need to be done before you start to look at the artists. See how those involved in the illegal drug trade are paying for the products. It is alleged that these products are being paid in exports. That's why we have so much of warehouses opening all over North America, because this is how that whole pipeline deals. From Trinidad to Miami to New York, from there to Ecuador to Panama. Yes, Panama. And as I touch on Panama, I wouldn't want to get into that part, though. Let me leave it there. One more thing, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned about where are the passengers or where are the crew from these ships that turn over. Well,
Yeah.
a tug only needs 2 persons. No, let me say it the right way. Six people could run a tug and a barge. On the barge, all you need is an assistant engineer and a mate. And 4 on the tug. Tugs go up and down all these rivers. The reason why they use these 35,000 gallon barge is because tankers can't come into certain ports. So they actually use tugs to transport all these fuel into certain ports that tankers can't come into. A lot of Caribbean islands also will have these barge bringing in product. And it's not only for pulling, because the ones I see mostly, they are being pushed. The barges are being pushed. And to say one thing else, there was a crude way once upon a time how we got rid of oil spill. But since it reached a stage now that people more environmental conscious, it wouldn't be discussed. But these fuels, these gases are lighter than water, so it floats on top. You could burn it. There's a process called ISB, where they have a controlled burning. If it's too close to the shore, you get 2 tugs, one in front, one behind, and you push it out at sea, and you can have a controlled burning. All right, thank you very much. There's a lot to digest. You don't really have to respond. Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, caller. Morning. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Concerning agencies and these entertainers, with the agencies receive the contracts for the artists, and it's a long process. The company sends out the tender for the person to perform. Like, okay, let's say Sparrow Kitchener, and the agent receives a certain.
You got to speak up a little bit, caller.
Yeah, sorry. And the agent receives a certain amount of money that has to be distributed between several people. The problem is with taxation. It's right when it hits the banks, there is where the taxation is concerned. The artist has no empowerment as far as receiving money for taxes. When the money gets to the artist, it's too small because it's already divided down to so many people doing so many things with that money, so that when it gets to there, it's impossible for the artist to really pay anything from it. It's very, very difficult. And especially local agents, they want to give you the least amount they can and hold the best amount for themselves, even though they have it written in a contract. It's very difficult. It's as far as Kitchen and Sparrow is concerned, they are big individual artists, and they don't have tags with them. When I say tags, other artists en masse with them, which should have been happening at that time. So that's why we have no continuity, because we don't have other artists grouped with them. Now might be a better opportunity where we have a lot of younger artists, So if you get one man to start, you'll have references of others. I find a bit of contribution. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, caller. All right. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. We are taking your calls. Lines are open. Of course, you can contact us on Facebook and YouTube as well as WhatsApp at 318-1021. Okay.
I mean, Dad was just sending me a message here that was saying that he believes that you're taxed in the jurisdiction in which you perform a commercial activity. Under our double taxation agreement with Canada and the US, you can't be taxed twice for the same income. He said this is his knowledge on how the double taxation works. So if you're taxed in the US or Canada, you can't be double taxed again.
Double tax,
yeah.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
AALA.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Dr. Paul. Good morning, Mr. Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The rain?
Hey, Steve, boy. All years I here in California, I never see so much rain. Boy, rain. Oh, God, people balling here, boy. Rain.
The most in 26 years.
Yeah, rain. But all the people who live in the rich area of they want to run here in Beverly Hills, house getting hand and foot and walking here on the road, all kind of mudslide because when I'm on the road, all kind of craziness. Right? And it after yesterday rainfall and the schedule for rain like Sunday and Monday coming again. That's so much rain. The refinery are working, the whole refinery flood out.
Wow.
I was sending some pictures.
Not a problem.
How you got?
They're still having plenty of rain?
Yeah, after yesterday rainfall, the day before it fall whole day. After yesterday until yesterday morning about 1 o'clock, about 10 o'clock in the morning, it stopped falling. I never seen that before. Hey, Dr. Paul, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Getting over the flu, thank God.
I've been listening to you. Yesterday, I see you had a fight enough too, but I hope you feel better and everything goes well with you.
I do, thank you so much. I do.
Hey, Steve, you wicked, boy. Steve, you wicked enough, boy. You just send me them, you real wicked enough, boy.
Yeah.
You ain't easy, huh? You ain't easy.
Yeah, picture some doubles here.
Yeah. All right, guys, I love to listen.
All right.
You guys stay blessed, man.
All right, good hearing you. It's been a while. Thank you so much. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning.
I really don't. My thing is I like the idea of what you were saying in the independence and other Paul, but how is there a space where you could go and find out how to negotiate the space and how to get yourself out there as a young upcoming artist, or even I don't know, Richard, and you in the theater, there's a one-stop shop. I know business people say the one-stop shop to bring their partners in where they could go and how to invest, how you come in. I don't know the one-stop shop, and that is what I thought. Well, we don't even have a one individual, but the TT music and the TT things and the film was supposed to give you that one-shop support system to get you to move. But most artists do it on their own, and they get there, and they have done it. And I know one of the other interesting thing about creators is writers getting their work out, and the academic creative, the amount of projects that they do and income that they bring into the thing with university collaborations and departmental and doing their things. I find those things are done through the conferences. I know the South by Southwest conferences are one for the musicians, but for visual artists are real artists, and I know two of you that have been consistently showing on the outside. Some of them have representation now, gallery, but artists normally pack up their suitcase, head to the art basils on the fringes and do their exhibitions and get their shows, do their thing, and they do it on their own. Now, and yeah, and if you make, I think, yeah, I would agree that if you're making a certain level of income, because in all that struggle, you don't make no big set of money, and sometimes you don't even make any money. You just do it because you're looking for to get representation. So you might make a little something, and you hope that when you make the representation on the outside, you get seen, and it leads to other things. And generally, you break even. Because you foot your airfare, you foot your hotel bill, you foot a little something, and your suitcase in it, and you're handling your stories that way until you get maybe to the level where, like, but the agents and things to do that. I know, Bahamas have a better job, and even Barbados have more investment, at least for the visual artists, in getting them to the art basils and to those things where galleries see the artists and stuff. And I think Grenada and all sent a contingent of artists to Miami, Art Basel, and stuff. So those are I mean, yeah, how you invest in things. And one of the problems with them is that they don't listen to people who have a track record of doing it. When you go and sit down and those things, there's this tone deaf thing about how to set up the ecosystem to support, and then you will get your income, but supporting it. Jamaica has been able to do, because I guess they have had the Edna Manley School of the Arts. So once you graduate from the Edna Manley School, you don't make galleries pop up to look at you, or maybe come down to see a final show. And that's the thing. How do you get people to know that you're on a radar, that your work is excellent, and you provide a certain amount of things that they come down to see your exhibition or your graduating show, and then they say, yeah, I like that student, I like this up and coming artist, I will invest, come with me. But Jamaica have that ethos, at least in the visual arts, because Edna Manley and thing, they have been able to build that capacity. And we are not. We always talk, and that's my thing. We always talk about money, but never talking about the things that we need to do to invest in our artists, to give them the level that people will say, hey, that is our island there, creative like hell. We got to go there because they're artists, sculptors, they sing, or we want to see what they're doing. And that's what we need. And that means the school and the facilities and the training, and then your secondary ecosystem and your primary ecosystem have to be good. And you can't wait till somebody's 17 and 18 and you're doing all right and stuff. But you're hearing a lot of the people saying workshops. Marshall Montano talking about we need more writers workshop. We see when thing was held, when she got this signed in, it's a workshop she went to, a writer's workshop she was in, and the signing happened. That's when the thing. So she was also doing those residencies and the workshops and those kind of things that you have to do as an artist to get the visibility that you want. But we need to understand that we need to develop the ecosystem, which is from preschool. And Nihal said that in their white paper, that if we want more innovation in the country, we need to invest from preschool, innovative education system from preschool to secondary school. And yet we have not been able to do that very well. Yeah, right, fellas.
All right. Thanks, Dean. All right, 222-8255, toll free 866-525-1099.
And he's right, Dean is right. A lot of the times artists pretty much do things on their own.
And that's why my message earlier on was that it's not an industry. People do this stuff because they love it. The support systems aren't set up to help developers or make the inroads into markets like the US. Set up a group of artists who you think have potential and call a record company or a studio and say, listen, we have 10 artists we want to bring to you to showcase from Trinidad and Tobago because we think they have the talent and we need your partnership to break them big, you understand? We're willing to put some money as a country, and we want you to sign them, and we will make a particular investment to break them globally because there's sustainability here. That's right. That's what I think an industry is. That's what I think the Ministry of Trade, working with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, should be doing. Just like they do for manufactured products in Trinidad and Tobago. Same thing. There's no difference. It's a product. It's a service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I see some comments coming in. Let me read one of the comments here. Let me see. So yeah, from Paul Prudent. Paul Prudent says, in developed countries, artists and sports persons must pay taxes on all incomes. There have been many sportsmen, Bob, for example, and Mercy, who were all fined for not declaring income and paying taxes.
Whatever the cost of it is still income, you know. And you pay income above a particular level in any country, you know.
Yeah.
So the fact that it comes from culture and the arts and creatives doesn't make a difference. Once it's income and it's above a particular level, you should be paying taxes on it. Once you are getting the services that you need to get from paying the taxes. That's a while ago. That's what taxes are for, to provide support services in any state. Infrastructure, water, lights, streets, education, health, etc. We're still taking your calls.
Yes, so we're taking your calls to the 8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, you know, well, you can send your messages and we look at your messages when they come in, wherever you are watching us from. LinkedIn, Insta Live, Facebook, YouTube.
I am downloading Ashley Abrams, Miss Trinidad and Tobago, representing us in India at Miss World. She debuted the national costume on Tuesday night to rave reviews. I'm inviting you all to go to the Miss World site because some level of how well they do, their progress, depends on votes from around the world. And yes, the countries with bigger populations have a little head start, but we can all go and vote for Ashley Abrams on Miss World because she's a beautiful young lady representing us. She's in India currently. And once I get this downloaded, I'll play it back for you all in terms of her presentation of the national costume. It's a kind of stylized sailor costume that I think Tribe did, if I'm not mistaken.
Lost Tribe,
sorry. Yeah.
Solange, I think it was. Yeah, it's an interesting costume. When I saw her walk it, if I had one criticism, I felt the hat blocked her face a little too much.
But is this a sailor costume? Isn't it supposed to represent this type of sailor costume?
Yeah, it's a type of sailor costume. An interpretation of a sailor costume.
Well, yeah, they put feathers in a sailor costume, basically.
All right, we have some calls.
It's a little bit more than that snarky Paul Richards.
Feathers and everything. They put feathers in soup just now.
Morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, Paul.
Yes, my dear.
The Joint Select Committee, you know, as you said, this question that they had this debate on it. What I'm saying is they just talk among themselves, or is it that they will call in like artists that they know, like your friends?
My friends.
Or some of your friends. Yeah, like people who in the industry who travel abroad and who do shows and so abroad, like Bonji and Fian.
They should. I don't think they were in that forum. I saw Jerome Priscilla, who is the president of the Promoters Association, make a comment that he says they should be investing in artists in addition to taxing them. I don't know if he was actually there. He made a comment based on what was discussed there. But they can call anybody to a JSC to give testimony. They can call Ragoobarsingh and all from his perspective. But I think it was mainly this, and I didn't see the whole thing, because sometimes they have different people in different segments. People from the Ministry of tourism, the culture and the arts, about Trinidad and Tobago's cultural diplomacy policy and etc. So I don't think there were artists there, but I think they should if they're talking about taxation of artists to get their side of it.
Yes, because how will you know? I'm talking about somebody who is established. That will be now, not that you want to know what money they make, but then again, you have to find out what is the procedure. That is what I'm self-interested in, because I always ask some of the artists that they bring here. All certain times that I see they bring a lot of Jamaican artists and all that. How is the exchange? Money-wise. How they do it and what, so it's only the artists can tell you. Those who jump on a plane as Carnival finish and go abroad and wait. I'm not concerned in all the money they're making, you know. What I'm really interested in now, as the question comes up, is how they go about paying taxes. So that is what the average person in the public would like to know. If you're paying Uncle Sam, if it's there you perform, how your money come in here, if it's through the bank, because as I said again, simple people who like, you're getting pension abroad. The bank takes a lot of money to transact it, to send it here. When it comes here, they charge you money on things. So it is a whole thing that we don't know. If it is that they're getting, because I don't think when you work out there and they give you, even if it's a, let's say they pay in cash, you're not walking with that lump sum to come in a plane to come home. You know, so it's all this people.
No, it's money transfer, like any other transfer. Like if you get bad Amazon, you could send payment back on an electronic system. I don't think people walking with, but some people actually get paid in cash.
Well, this is what I'm saying. And is it that the electronic systems are the ones that making the money, and not the country that, or is it by extension? When they declare the profits at the end of the year, that the government will tax you on it and tax it enough so that you understand what I mean? They will benefit in the long term. Anyhow, it's a big discussion.
Yeah.
I would like to hear more about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zena. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Paul, you gave an interesting story yesterday. But I noticed you remembered both first and last name of the individual. My question was, do you see that individual anymore?
What individual are you talking about?
The guy who used to crouch up every day in school.
No. I think I saw him a couple of years ago. Maybe we grown now, so it's not a big deal. I saw him, we spoke a couple of times. But you don't really, most people in secondary school, are very few of them I kept in touch with.
Okay. I was just wondering if he know that this little small boy used to crouch up every day.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be very interesting. But I too experienced something.
You're ready to belt a chair.
Oh yeah.
Well, yesterday we moved all the chairs from the newsroom.
I used to go to a seminary elementary school in Sao, and every day this guy used to do the same thing, clout me up every day and make me and my brother walk the way he wanted to pass to go home. So I'm very familiar with that type of bullying. The day I told my father about it, however, my father came to school the next day, and it was the only day in what I recall this guy didn't come to school. And I recognized it was the ancestors' intervention, because had my father gotten his hand on that young man, my father might have been doing jail or something like that. So it's a good thing, right? But I think what I recall is after my father come to school, that was the end of the clouting.
And ironically, I wasn't the only person he was bullying, but he stopped everybody because a precedent was set. So you can't want to get more galvanized to you. You have to chill out. But I don't. To me, the issue was not really him as much as the school didn't do anything.
Yes, I was supposed to talk to you about that.
That's what upset me. The school didn't do it.
You said you got strokes, but that was
Yeah.
immediately after.
Yeah, both of we get strokes.
Immediately after.
About half hour after, yes.
Right. Had I been your guardian parent, whatever it is, I would have weeded into the school for that.
You know, my mother congratulated them.
Here's why. Congratulate who?
My mother old school, you know.
Here's why. And that is the problem with the old school. Here's why. You see, you went through the channels, you informed all the authorities you're supposed to inform for them to do something about it. You see they didn't do anything, yes, you ought to get some licks. But you went through the channels, you tell the principal, your teacher, you tell the dean, you tell the principal.
Now, keep in mind, we're talking about this now, but this is in the context of 30 plus years ago, when this kind of conversation wasn't as prominent, and the approach which we know now wasn't the approach that would have been the situation there. So we talk now as if it was back then the same thing as not, wasn't the same thing back then. So you have to understand the context.
Back then, you knew to go through the channels. That was
but I mean, them school didn't take you on back then. Go on, toughen it up. Well, I toughen it up, get them got nice shiny tail. Anyway, I'm going to play back this young lady so we can see what she represents. Thank you so much. Well, get up again, I'll tell you that.
Everybody stand up for yourself, and I'm sure you start to stand up for a lot of other children because you say you didn't do
one tap and maybe volleyball team and the table tennis team. So I was a hero.
Well done.
This is Trinidad and Tobago's representative, Ashley Abrams, at Miss World in India with the costume.
Let me see the costume. Let me see it. Where is it?
And soca and carnival.
United States.
Yeah, if Sierra come aboard looking like that.
And soca and carnival.
You see what I mean about the happening and full water?
Yeah.
United States.
No, Trinidad and Tobago, not United States. Cool yourself.
Yeah.
It was like a conveyor belt. They were just calling the next team and the other one was
well, they're moving that time. They're moving
that,
fast.
in case you didn't realize, was a sailor costume.
Mm-hmm.
Sailor mask.
Yeah, an interpretation of.
When in doubt, put feathers.
Why is he laughing so loud?
Excuse me.
Why is he laughing so loud?
She's a beautiful young lady, dude. Let me tell you. You all go on the site and bright, beautiful, great spirit.
It's very pretty. It's very pretty.
Good really morning, Camille, her mom.
Yeah.
You understand? Representing she's doing quite well in the ratings, but as I said, go to the Miss World site and vote for her. Keep it going. See, look, our creatives on display here. Listen, our creatives made that. That is out of the creative belly of Trinidad and Tobago.
United States.
Beautiful. I think she's going to go top 10, if not win.
Yeah, I think she has a good chance.
Yeah,
she has a very good chance of winning that whole thing and flying the red, white, and black proudly. I saw a piece she also did on. She says she's a teenager. She wanted to work in the UN to help to achieve sustainable development. It was very, very bright, very, very articulate also. So there's a really good chance. You all have a great day. Be safe out there and go to the Miss World site and vote for Trinidad and Tobago.
Abrahams. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. Of course, I'll be telling you about theater maybe a little later on this week, which is not
now.
Friday. We have a new play starting next week, Saturday, at Queen Soul, and it's called Love is a Walk.
And you should tell them to go and support Cecilia Salazar.
All right, yes, Cecilia is on this weekend. Actually, I'm going to that show this weekend. She's on this weekend at Central Bank. Cecilia It's a one-woman show where she's doing it's like a autobiographical performance where she's going to look at a lot of the roles that she did. So it should be really interesting because Cecilia is, of course, an excellent actress, and she's on this weekend at Central Bank Auditorium. So you should get the opportunity to see her. I think I'm going on either Saturday night. I think I'm going Friday or Saturday night. I'm going to go to that show. Cecilia, it's called. So you should support Cecilia. I just think
I want you to get picked. Only places I get picked to go with you. If you should get picked,
Nah, she didn't get picked. She didn't get picked for anything.
Who's that?
Mrs. R. She didn't get picked to go with you.
Oh, Mrs. R. Oh, you're looking for confusion. No, somebody invited me actually. So
that's the excuse you hear. In other words, she not going with him, Steve. She not get. She ain't get
somebody invited me.
She ain't get picked. Mr. Theater, you can get your tickets if you want. She ain't get picked.
I said, okay, yeah, of course I'm going to support Cece. So that's also theater is on this weekend with Cecilia in Central Bank Auditorium. And next week, Saturday at Queen's Hall, the premiere of a brand new play called Love is a Walk. Have a good one. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right.